Most people think car batteries last 3 to 5 years, but that's only true if you unknowingly abuse them, like 90% of drivers do. Last week, a customer threw away a $180 battery that only needed a $5 fix. The parts store told him it was dead. They were wrong. After 20 years in the shop, I've watched drivers waste thousands on batteries that could have lasted 10, 12, even 15 years. Today, I'm going to show you 15 techniques your mechanic never mentions because, let's be honest, selling you a battery every few years makes them money. Stick around to the end. The last tip costs nothing, takes 30 seconds, and it's how my work truck hit year 11 on its original battery. Let's jump in. 15. Don't discharge below 80%. Most people don't know this, but every time your battery gets deeply drained, it permanently loses capacity. A full overnight drain can knock 5 to 10% of its lifespan off in one shot. Starting your engine only uses a few percent, which is fine. But leaving the lights on? Doing that a few times can destroy a battery in under 3 years. And here's the key. If you ever accidentally drain it, recharge immediately. Letting it sit discharged makes the damage much worse. 14. Check specific gravity. If you have a serviceable flooded battery, this is the thing parts stores never tell you. A $10 hydrometer can show the true health of your battery by measuring each cell. A healthy, fully charged cell should read about 1.265. Anything significantly lower, or a big difference between cells, means something's wrong internally. Checking this a few times a year can reveal problems long before the battery fails. 13. Equalization charging, only for flooded batteries. This is a controlled overcharge that helps balance the cells and break down light sulfation. Fleets that do this quarterly regularly get 10 to 12 years out of batteries most people replace after 4 or 5. But remember, never do this on AGM or gel batteries. 12. Use a charger with a desulfate mode. Smart chargers with desulfation modes send special pulses that break down sulfation, the #1 battery killer. If you catch a battery early in the sulfation process, these chargers can restore 60 to 80% of the lost capacity. If it's too far gone, it won't work. But using one annually can dramatically extend battery life. 11. Load test yearly after year. Don't trust a simple voltage reading. Voltage might look fine, but the battery could collapse under load. A proper load test, holding above 9.6 volts for 15 seconds, is the gold standard. Do this once a year after year 5. You'll know a battery is failing long before you get stranded. 10. Upgrade to AGM if your vehicle works hard. AGM batteries resist heat, vibration, deep discharge, and short trip abuse way better than standard flooded batteries. In tough environments, they last 150 to 200% longer. 8 years is common. 10 isn't unheard of. If you run lots of electronics, drive short distances, or live in extreme heat, AGM is worth the upgrade. 9. Fix parasitic drains immediately. Every modern car has a tiny power draw when it's off, usually 20 to 80 milliamps. But anything above 100 milliamps is a problem. I once had a customer destroying batteries every 3 months. The cause? An aftermarket stereo pulling 450 milliamps around the clock. We fixed the wiring and his next battery lasted 8 years. If your car sits for a few days and the battery dies, get the parasitic drain checked. 8. Test your charging system twice a year. Your alternator should put out 13.5 to 14.5 volts. Too low, and the battery never fully charges, losing up to 30% of its lifespan. Too high, and you boil off electrolyte and destroy it in a year or 2. Do a quick test every spring and fall, especially if your lights dim at idle or accessories act strange. 7. Make sure your battery is properly secured. This sounds minor, but it's huge. A loose battery bounces, vibrates, and literally cracks the internal plates. Batteries that aren't secured properly fail 3 to 4 times faster. A $5 hold-down bracket can save you hundreds. 6. Protect your battery from extreme heat. Heat is actually the #1 battery killer, not cold. Every 15 degrees Fahrenheit above normal cuts the battery's life roughly in half. So at 90 degrees Fahrenheit, you might only get 3 years. At 70 degrees Fahrenheit, you might get 6. At 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 years isn't unusual. Park in the shade, pop the hood after hard drives, and in hot climates, consider a heat shield. 5. Maintain electrolyte levels. This only applies to serviceable batteries, but if you have one, check it monthly. If the plates are exposed due to low electrolyte, the damage is fast and permanent. Fill only with distilled water. Never tap water. If you have a sealed battery, don't force it open. Leave it sealed. 4. Avoid only taking short trips. Short trips under 10 minutes never give the alternator enough time to recharge after starting. Do this repeatedly and the battery slowly drains over time. Delivery fleets that made dozens of short stops a day saw batteries die in 18 months until they changed routing to include longer drives. If you drive mostly short trips, take a 20-minute highway drive once a week. 3. Clean corroded terminals. Corrosion increases resistance, lowers charging efficiency by up to 60%, and makes your starter pull far more current. Clean terminals every 3 months with a baking soda paste. Rinse, dry, and coat with a protectant. It takes 5 minutes and can easily add years to your battery's life. 2. Use a battery maintainer for vehicles that sit. Modern vehicles draw power even when they're off. If your car sits for more than a week at a time, use a maintainer. It keeps the battery fully charged, prevents sulfation, and can add years of life. Boats, RVs, classic cars, motorcycles, they all need maintainers. 1. Keep it fully charged, always. This is the big one. A battery that stays fully charged can last a decade or more. A battery that sits partially discharged builds sulfation, and sulfation is a one-way street toward battery death. Even a few deep discharges can ruin a battery early. If you take nothing else from this video, keep your battery topped up. So that's the real reason some people burn through a battery every 3 years, while others squeeze 10, 12, even 15 years out of the exact same model. Once you know these tricks, you stop wasting money and your battery suddenly magically lasts way longer. But it's not magic, it's just knowledge most people never get told. If this video saved you money, and trust me, it absolutely will, do me a favor and hit that like button so more drivers can find this and stop throwing away perfectly good batteries. And if you want even more real-world tips that parts stores and mechanics never bother to mention, go ahead and subscribe and stick around. I've got plenty more coming that will save you hundreds, prevent breakdowns, and keep your car running like it should. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one.